Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a bonus episode of the Head Space Podcast. This is the show where we break down the new hip hop albums track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every single song, letting you know what we think about it. I say we, but today it's just me. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and we will be going through the new Brockhampton project, Ginger. So lately we've been doing a little two-part testing, so it seems like people seem to be more into they watch longer when the video is shorter for some reason. So I've only at this point listened to the first 6 tracks. We're going to talk about those, and then in part 2 we're going to get to the rest of it. So I'm going to do a bit of the intro bit now, and you can skip that by checking the description of this video to see when I talk about each and every song. And I just want to start off by letting you know I know I'm not a professional by any means. I'm a person who one day decided to start reviewing albums, and it's been a couple of years now, and I've collected a few hundred albums, and I feel like my whole perspective on music has gone tipsy-turvy upside its head, and I've just come to really appreciate listening to the new and exciting sounds that are coming out inside of the world. So part of that quest is me doing this Brockhampton Ginger album. So I do appreciate all the comments we get on this channel, and I feel that they've been a significant part of the growth of us being able to get better. So I do encourage you to leave any comments, because, well, they'll help. And if you make that effort to leave a comment, I'll totally make that effort to respond to you. And because of that, I like to read my favorite comment on a video that we got recently. This came from Mundo Productions, and it was, I believe, on our ASAP Ferg review, but it might be on something else that was around that time. And it was and he says, "I'm new to your channel, love the reviews, thanks. I do sometimes cherry pick the ones that stroke my ego. First video I watched was Chocolate Starfish, so that's the Limp Bizkit album. Nice to hear some positivity about Limp Bizkit for once. Any chance of reviewing Slipknot's new album?" So I know that these bands probably are not the fan base of Brockhampton, but they might be. Either way, we're probably going to get to the Slipknot's new album soon. I had wanted to do it this weekend, but I didn't manage my time properly. Hell, that's why I'm doing this review, having only done the first half of the tracks in terms of reviewing it. So we'll get to it because it's a pretty cool album, and I look forward to it. And I appreciate the fact that he says, "I feel you guys would really give a good, detailed review of it, better than any that are out there on YouTube. Thanks." And that made me feel special. So this was my favorite comment I got recently, and I very much enjoyed that. But you can also be something critical. Sometimes we pick favorite comments that like totally make fun of us or tell us how we're wrong or teach us something. It's like really just, we like all the comments that we get. Before we jump into the episode though, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Dempsey, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Coney Sparks, and Linda Williams. They support what we do, so we shout them out at the beginning while you're still watching. And I think it's about time to get into it. I like to start off every episode describing my familiarity with the act. So today, like I said, we're talking about Brockhampton's Ginger album. And Brockhampton, this is not my first rodeo with them. I discovered the boy band back in December when Saturation 3 dropped, and we reviewed that album, and I was blown away by it. Like, the way that they all flow with each other and the more experimental, fun nature of their beats, the way that the album just kind of flowed almost seamlessly, like it was a designed playlist with a lot of thought and consideration into track order. I was impressed. I still haven't actually really gone back to Saturation 1 and 2, but I really was left with Saturation 3 being amazing. And I'm not gonna lie, I bumped Sister / Nation a whole bunch because I think it's a truly divine song. Then Iridescent comes out, and I think it's Iridescent or Iridescence. We reviewed that. It's pretty fantastic too. I'm not even gonna lie, there's quite a few replayable songs on that have stuck with me, and I feel like Brockhampton might even represent like the wave of the future, because I believe there's going to be in the next couple of years a significant shift in the direction away from trap kind of being the predominant force and more of this techno pop stuff you're seeing on the other end into something different. And the energy that Brockhampton brings to the table is a true contender of being the boilerplate for what ends up becoming the next huge thing. That was my impression going into this album. So I watched a couple of the music videos as they've dropped in the last couple of months because, like I said, I've become a huge Brockhampton fan in the last 9 months. Like, I honestly get why Anthony Fantano raves about them so much and why he likes JPEG Mafia and stuff, because it's like when you hear stuff that's just so different but still does it all right, that's refreshing. That's like a really exciting experience, and that's what I get from Brockhampton, honestly. Just like excitement and just the concept of how their group is orchestrated, where like everybody's included, the video people, the camera guys, like everybody, every single member who contributes to the group is included in it, even though maybe only 6 of them I think right now are vocalist members and whatnot. Then there's the beat makers, but like everybody contributes and builds up this kind of cohesive unit that is known as Brockhampton. And honestly, it's such a fascinating template for how independent people all over in different cities could organize and structure themselves to do something like drop 3 full albums in a span of 9 months. And then if you go back and you consider all the stuff they did the prior years, they're like release history of like actual projects is pretty insane. But I mean, not like mixtapes and craps, like they're just dropping all these albums, and I'm truly impressed how they are able to pull this off and bounce back after the little scuffle that y'all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I was really excited for this. As far as the cover goes, there's 2 of them hugging. I don't even know if they're people in the band. I have no idea what this picture's from. I don't have it. This album cover speaks like nothing to me. It'll just be what I remember as the identifying of this album. I suppose it's called Ginger and they have red hair. I don't know. Maybe I should have looked this up or something, but it just didn't mean anything to me, so I didn't feel any desire to care that much about it. As far as the title goes, it also doesn't mean that whole much to me. I'm not gonna lie, it just is stuff, placeholders in my imagination. So for you watching this, because I know I feel like I've dropped the ball in any critical analysis here, if y'all want to let me know what it means to you, maybe it'll inspire me, and that'll be really cool. On that note, I don't want to waste your time, so why don't we talk about how this review has the total polish of a no Halo situation. This song blew me away the first time I heard it. It is like their last album opener might have been one of the best album openers of the year in like a hype kind of sense. But if we want to flip it to a calmer, more pensive tone, and that's how you want to start an album, Brockhampton may also be a contender for the champion in that category too, because I believe that the energy and the power of this song is just divine. Like, you can just listen to it again and again and again, and it just evolves in such a way that it just stays interesting. We start off with Ryan Beatty, like, I think he's singing a bit, I don't know where I'm going, if I gotta take the high road, I'm rolling. And then Matt Champion just jumps in, and oh boy, does this guy know how to, like, really captivate you. And the way he's just spitting it, like, I ain't trying to get all up in your head again, Montana Atlanta, maybe I should go mosey my ass over to your house. What about a sight of you up on the couch, so cozy, losy lit, like rosy cheeks, oh, you so cozy with somebody else. And the way he's spitting it has this calm, pensive, quick, but like you can still very clearly hear what he's saying, pace to it, like true mastery of how to communicate with style. I think he might be like 6 tracks into it. I think Matt Champion might be my favorite from like the MC perspective of this album so far. Spoilers, I guess. And this song seems to kind of explore broken relationships-y kind of stuff, and I know it's kind of vague, but like each dude on each track kind of seems to always do their own thing while kind of sticking to a loose, cohesive subject matter. I mean, right here we're describing him like he's not trying to mess with some girl, and he's just considering going by some chick's place, and then he sees her with somebody else, and, you know, get nervous, and maybe it's just the fear of that happening versus whatever, but it just gives this tension where there's a lack of certainty on this song, or just in general. I feel like and it's almost comforting in a sense that their like insecurity is so honest and it's so like direct in the way they put it down, that if you ever experience anything of the sort, you just relate to it and almost feel comforted by the fact that you're not alone. Maybe that's a little cheesy and deep, but I'm not even playing. When I first heard this track, I was like, whoa. Anyway, like there's not that much else in terms of like specific bars I think I'm really want to quote from him, but it's all right. Like I like when he goes, I take it back. Baby want to raid the whole apartment like FBI, taking everything from pots and pans to fans and goldeneye. I mean, right there, you just picture it like, let's say you go away, maybe you're on tour or something, and you come home and it's just all the shit's gone because she left because of whatever. Now, I like when he goes, used to be so perfect, but it's never getting solved. And it's just, I've had enough broken situations in my life that I like the fact that they're willing to put this out so candidly the way that they did in such a probably based on real life kind of way. Plus his voice is just stellar and this flow is just stellar. Plus the beat is just stellar. And then it like flips into this more like, I want to say like gospel-y kind of singy thing where you've got, I'm not sure who Deb Never is, to be honest. I don't even know if she's in the group. Merlin Wood and Matt Champion kind of singing together. I'm sure I'll find it. No one can help me when my eyes go red. I'm sure I'll find it. And you're just like, wow, man. It's like this simultaneousness of trying to find solace and comfort in any kind of a situation mixed with the real. And when you picture your eyes going red, it's like you're crying, or maybe you're really stoned. But either one of those situations, you might feel like you're lost and you're out there and you can't handle stuff. But it's this like lost, vacant, helpless feeling mixed with this like almost desire and comfort in knowing that you're going to be able to make it through it. And that's a cool juxtaposition. That's some art shit that we don't get a whole lot of, I think, in music in almost any genre right now. So kudos to Brockhampton. Merlin Wood, coming into it, was my favorite. I feel like he is the ultimate hype man on this project from what I've heard so far, in the way he spits compared to some of the others. But I like his voice. I like his energy. There's something about the way he says shit that just like gets you pumped up. But then he comes in on Dish Track and I feel like it's this calmer, like sadder version of him. But it don't get me wrong, quality wise is just as good, but it wasn't that like hyped out shit that I was kind of expecting. And I really like that. I like that I keep getting caught off guard. Like, you can't expect anything with these guys because, a lot of them have multiple vocal ways of hitting it. Like, Kevin Abstract's a freaking genius with his voice. And the fact that they all seem to get more versatile and more willing to experiment over time is also stupidly cool. It flows on through, and then Merlin's verse is just kind of sad. He's just like a little mess, a little emotional clusterfuck, and that's about all he really conveys there, and I just really enjoyed it. I don't have a lot more to comment on him. And then Don McLennan comes in on the third verse, and he's cool, man. Used to fight all my night terrors, now I smoke through the dreams. Depression put me into places where I'm stuck in the seams. They sealed my mouth and said only way to breathe is to scream. Popped the stitches from society and fall to my knees. I'm like, damn, that's like a really convoluted way, if I'm not mistaken, and not convoluted in a bad way, but like in the poetry you're kind of supposed to do that way, of admitting to being depressed and unable to fit in with people, bait out your mind, trying to figure out a new way to escape because you bottle everything up and it just wants to explode. And fitting into society is a complicated thing, especially when he goes on with the next line. The machines weaving out fate are getting harder to please, but I believe to an extreme. To anybody listening, there's an in-between. And I think that's some like actual socio-political commentary on the way the corporate structure seems to consistently demand and tax us more, psychologically speaking, without maybe giving us any kind of payback. Like, there's some idea that because we don't have to push crap in fields and be farmers and like physical laborers all the time, that somehow life is simpler, even though we are psychologically and mentally taxing ourselves to a place where we've never been at before in history. So it's fascinating that they're able to kind of mix in some like super consciousness. I mean, Dom's pretty dope like that. I think I remember him being kind of like that in general. Joba, if I'm not mistaken, he's got the high-pitched psycho voice sometimes, and then he sings otherwise, and here he's kind of doing a more singy thing. Went to a church for the hell of it, stumbled in drunk as shit, been going through it again, been talking to myself, wondering who I am, been thinking I am better than him. It's like, damn. Again, just this like moment captured from his version of it, where maybe he's dealing with alcohol instead, or maybe he's just hating himself and trying to boost up his own ego or something. But I'm like, wow, there is so much packed into this track as the and keep in mind, like, as each of them deliver their music differently, the beat and shit flips up to proper it, down to, like, you getting this bareface thing where he goes with this weird, cool, super cool, high-pitched voice. Wash it all out of me, feel the fire, but you know that's a lie. Wash it all out of me to feel the fire, but you know that's a lie. No one can help me when my eyes go, which is fascinating. Like, just this sense of repetition of, you know, clean yourself out, promise to yourself it's going to get better, but then you're just going to do it again in this self-destructive kind of way. So right away, we're just feeling this track that's weighted with, like, emotional insecurity, this inability to cope with the world as it certainly is, and nobody's really, I don't want to say happy per se, but everyone's just kind of like faded out into this communal sense of misery almost. Like, I don't want to say these boys are unhappy. I bet they're just creating art based off of honest emotions that people feel, like the total anxiety of everything and shit that they really have felt, or feel even. But, like, it's just so powerfully honest, I think. It blew my mind. And to me, this is an amazing start. I gave it a 4.75. Everything about it is fantastic. The music video is also imaginative. And again, it's like everybody seems to manage to twist things. Like, people just come up with ideas spontaneously on the spot. And it makes me want to watch their music videos, because they're not just gonna be, you don't know what to expect, and it's not gonna be some lame ass everybody's doing the same thing. At the very least, you know, everyone's gonna try and do something that you're gonna remember, and that's really amazing to see in this day and age where not many people are willing to go that hard with it. So I'm very impressed with this. I'm blown away. I'm ready to talk about sugar now, though. Sugar is a toxic substance. We need each other. But we need each other. Yeah, back on Vince with the braces. So it's about now I figured out that maybe we were going to go on some kind of love journey through this project, and that's going to be like a central theme of the music. Although, having heard a couple of the singles, I suppose it wasn't that surprising. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. Sonically, my interest absolutely dipped at this track just because we faded into some more auto-tuney stuff immediately with the way Ryan starts the song, anyway. It just kind of feels like a different vibe than I would go out of my way to listen to, but it's also a testament to the versatility and skill of these guys, because the way this album flows, each of the tracks kind of just mesh into each other like the vibe of a mixtape almost, in that sense where it could like just flow out as one long seamless track. And I think that's truly incredible. And because of that, having these multiple vibes to take you on different elements of the journey is just really important, even though my preferences may not lie with every choice that they make creatively. I recognize how skilled it is and how amazingly well put together this song is. It is enjoyable to listen to, even though it's not 100% my cup of tea. Right away with the chorus, spending all my nights alone, waiting for you to call me. You're the only one I want by my side when I fall asleep. Tell me what I'm waiting for. Tell me what I'm waiting for. I know it's hard, but we need each other. And then if we think about how the last track presented a bunch of folk in the various states of emotional insecurity and whatnot, if you've ever lived through that world, the idea of being alone is a very hard thing to do. And you will find yourself often finding comfort in somebody that you can intercourse with and spend time with and that kind of thing, because in those moments it's like you can escape reality. I mean, we used to call them daycations, where we would like fuck off and both of us would call in sick and spend the day in bed just doing the thing and kind of ignoring everything that exists in like this peaceful thing. And hearing a hook like that kind of makes me think of the in-betweens of those moments where you would just crave the next one. And I don't know, maybe in this case it's about specific somebody and it's special. At that point in my life it was certainly not. Dom is again an extremely talented dude, man. He comes in hard. I don't know if I said it, but like he comes in with this like enjoyable way that he presents his flow. I move mountains on my own, don't need nobody help. Change your mind when I change my life. Better start believing in myself. We all out looking for God. We never see it in ourselves. Shit, divine intervention, moving stealth. what a fascinating like way to look at the power within yourself to accomplish things, mixed with how other people and in general we're almost taught to seek that through external forces rather than realizing how powerful we can be when we can develop our own sense of real confidence. And I really kind of like that. I like the way he flows this. You can find me dancing in between raindrops, trying to find a way to make the pain stop. Overtime on the graveyard, gotta feeling brainwashed. My instability's trademark, copywritten on my decisions. This is not supposed to be a way of living. Turn my temple down to a prison. And then he just kind of like almost flips it, like he understands what's possible, but maybe isn't able to necessarily get there because of the complicated nature of his current existence. And I like the fact that like he understands how back and forth he might be inside of himself and how there's almost like this internal war. And I think so many people are going through that right now that I appreciate him again putting down that honesty, and it just is really good to listen to. It almost has like a softer tone in the delivery, but it's still poetically beautiful. Matt Champion is my champion of the track, and he comes in with his cooler flow, and it just kind of, in his verse, I feel like he used to kind of like describe sneaking into some place where he gets all fucked up with some girl, and he realizes the morality of the situation and questions that, like, and she gave me all I need for tonight, 40 suffice, morally alright, but I need some advice, but I know that I'm acting foolish, could you pick me up around noonish? Half a blunt, yeah, we cool and twist it up, put it on Outkast. Amazing that he shouts out Outkast. I like the fact that these guys are not afraid to shout out classic influences that inspire them. But again, it's that escapist. I know that I'm fucking with people. I know that this isn't necessarily the right thing to be doing with my time and how I treat people, but doing it anyway because it's just kind of what you're hooked on. And then, Bareface. That guy has such an eerie voice and chilling effect on the track that just every time you hear it, just takes you to a new place with it. But when I love you right, I'm by your side, but I'll make it bright. Baby, I want you to know I'm gonna be there for you. And it's just like this dedication, this ominous dedication in the middle of like the emotional instability brought on by the other guys. So you're dealing with, on the one hand, the recklessness of what's really going on inside of yourself, while the facade of what you're putting on to spend time with this person is, oh, you're incredible, I'm going to be the best for you. And then, Kevin kind of jumps in back and forth. I'll take, that's what I'm asking for, with my legs up on the dashboard. Only thing in my pocket is my passport. And that's an interesting point, right? So it's almost like you're going back and forth, and if you get the opportunity to jump at the situation, fine, whatever it is, I'll go with you, we'll run away, we'll do whatever. And who hasn't sat there and been like, don't you just want to run away from it all and go to another place and do it all? And in this case, maybe they have the means to do it, so he's just like, fuck it, let's go, all I need is my passport, that's it, we'll go anywhere you want. It's almost like super sweet and endearing. And then the track kind of ends with, so do you love me? And that's when it kind of tied it in for me a little bit. So this kind of sounds like this bastic almost argument or conversation of intensity where he's kind of being super honest. I'm a fucking crazy person. I'm going to be like this, but I'm also like this, and, like laying it all down. I'm going to take you anywhere. I'm going to be the best person for you and make you feel amazing, but also, I guess, showing all the truth of it, boiling it all down to that culmination at the end where it's like, so do you love me? Please love me, almost like just begging for it in a sense. Give me that affirmation that this isn't crazy, that this isn't just in my head. And so, or I think maybe you guys can let me know what you think always. Sometimes I feel like part of it goes from what's actually happening into the song to where my imagination takes me with this song. So I'm curious to hear if your imaginations go to different places. I give this a 4.25 because it's an amazingly put together song, but as I did mention, it's not 100% my cup of tea. So anyway, I want to stay true to myself, Either way, some of y'all watching this may be like, you know what, boy, bye.
Acting like Regina, you a little bit dramatic. I've been in the cockpit, I've been in the cabin. Take the ego out.
Holy shit, this beat is just fantastic. This energy on this track is just fantastic. I mean, I know this one's been out for a minute, and maybe a gajillion motherfuckers have made reaction videos about it and whatever, but like, wow, it just starts off, and like Dom is just sitting there with the basketball in the video, and I think this video is so interesting, right? Because the individual shots are just so fucking weird. So Dom is like pretty close to the camera, And then they're using stuff like Gestalt principles to essentially have these three people in the background. I don't actually know if there are other dudes in the group. I just assume everybody's in the group in the video. And they're all like, Dom's just kind of like bouncing the basketball, like holding it up and stuff. And because of how far back they are, it looks like they're all just trying to jump up and reach up and get it. And he's just like confidently moving this around. Wow, he starts off the track with, everybody ask me how I deal with my depression. Man, look, I don't got the answer to your question. And I'm like, damn, he's got this cool cadence with it, this sick, like, fucking disposition. If I did, you would probably never hear from me again. That's a promise, not a threat, and it ain't no half-stepping. So basically what he's saying here is, I'm not necessarily certain that my emotional state's proper. I don't have the answer to the question how I'm coping, and if I really came to answers to your questions, which you don't really want me to do, it's going to go in a direction you don't want to go. And then he shows legitimacy by talking about fucking Big Daddy Kane's Ain't No Half Stepping. And we recently reviewed Big Daddy Kane, so I'm so happy that this just keeps popping up so I can be like, I know what that means. But that was cool. Again, like I said, showing love to the legends, which is going to be something that these boys are it's going to help them as they grow and people realize that this is a differentiator of this group. Another one that does that is Flatbush Zombies. They're pretty dope. Anyway, but can't let it compromise the pace I'm setting. Grandma told me don't forget to count my blessings. Breaking up botanicals to ease my stress and was the one that you needed but you weren't expecting. And that's cool, man, because after flipping into that dark shit, he's kind of like, yeah, but I'm also doing pretty incredible stuff. And my grandma did tell me to stop and smell the roses and understand that sometimes there are actually good things going on. And then evidently he's smoking some marijuana. And then he's also providing you with what you needed but weren't expecting, which is a cool thing because honesty on these subjects in a non-commercial way is fascinating. Kudos to Logic for trying to raise awareness for like the suicide stuff and whatnot, and props to him for like doing that ridiculously over the top pop song. But hearing Dom kind of rap some shit that I feel sometimes is just more meaningful to a person like me. So I respect that. Wrote a new constitution, we don't need amending. I go Johnny Cochran when I'm raising my defenses. Fuck, man. It's cool that they're using such like things like OJ's lawyer to the quality of skill of his defenses in terms of holding down who he is and whatnot. It's an amazing verse, and it's an amazing start to the song with this funky, crazy rhythms on this beat, and it's just like, it sets it up. And then immediately Matt champions inside this like glass elevator thing, and he's like fucking kissing it and crap, like putting his lips up as he's rapping on his verse, and then he just pulls out like Windex and cleans it. And the effect of him cleaning the glass and how clear it gets after is actually pretty substantial. And for like, what, $4, they got such a killer prop, because I assume you have to buy the bottle of Windex, or even anybody had one. Hell, they might have just gotten it because somebody had Windex around. Clean. Excellent effect. I was blown away by that. But he's fun, man. I got caught like the first time I heard it. Man, this shit bumped like a belly when it's pregnant. Because a pregnant belly has a bump. And this song actually does bump like a pregnant belly. Because it's like that. I thought it was fucking cool. Bonafide Big Bird looking like a Yeti. Alright. Interesting line just because it rhymes perfectly. And like it's such interesting imagery. Like you see like Big Bird, such a nice thing, but Yeti, such a not nice thing put together. Swift cheat feeded us a real big kitty, made y'all judges, that's a real ass feeling. And I'm like, okay, that's a weird vagina line, maybe? I don't know. Or maybe it's just because he's so wanted to say kitty because it rhymes, and he just kind of brings up cheetahs because they're fast, or maybe it's just I'm overthinking it. I don't know. I like when he goes, always got to shit like a constipated reverend, because again, if a reverend's full of shit anyways, you know, and if he's constipated, it's always got to go. I thought it was like just clever shit. Yeah, I don't like the shit, talk, dumb, pun, all fun, but I make your bitch crack a giggle with the next one. And it's just this confidence, you know, goofy ass boy look like Elmer Fudd cousin. Like there's this confidence to how he owns what he is, and it's just flares. And I think again Matt Champion did my favorite verse on this track, and it's really, really freaking cool. Super enjoyed it. Super upbeat, yo. Like, this track is 2 minutes and 22 seconds long, and it fucks me up again how much they pack into it and how alive and amazing the experience of this song is. Kevin Abstract's part of the music video, at least the first part, is just incredible. Everybody's got these lighters in this black room, and then the lighters start going out a little bit, and then it's just really dark, and then he's just in front of a green screen thing, or one of those mats where basically it's a green screen. And that part was really boring. But the part with the lighters, I was like, whoa, that's a cool concept. So I really appreciated that. And again, his verse is pretty good. Trauma got me fucked up, mama got me fucked up, my little locked up. It's like Hakuna Matata, never like sci-fi, empathetic Wi-Fi, keeping in the back room, hide it with my dry eye. And I guess he's just kind of pointing out here that his life's a little complicated and he doesn't like fake shit, and so he's just trying to like hold it all together. I don't know. And then kind of moves on to flossing about how all this money on the table because they had that $15 million deal and none of his people are still stable yet, because I actually was just reading an article where even if they had that $15 million deal, that's not like the band gets $15 million. It's not really how it works. They were saying that they would likely have gotten at most $600,000 to like live off of it, plus like another $700,000 for like X amount of production and stuff. So honestly, if you consider it's like 11 or 12 dudes and you start splitting stuff up, yeah, these guys are going to have to end up making some serious cash flow in order to like maintain. I'm not like trying to be negative. I'm saying a $15 million record label deal isn't actually going to be enough to sustain them. Whereas where I think they're heading is they're heading for the enough money coming in from the underground that they never have to worry. Like, they're going to be proper. They're going to be taken care of. And then I really liked the part where Matt Champion and Merlin would do this little interlude, and I was pretty excited because Merlin sounds fantastic, but I like it's nothing really. It's just a little simple thing. You know, tell the DJ man he ain't slick because he ain't playing hits. He's silly. And then the boy bye kind of like comes in, and I think that might be the first time we hear the boy bye, which I really like. I think it's a really fucking great little touch to this track. Bareface sings, and he's got like this freaking eeriness to him again. I really like it. Ring in their ears like a bark. Always feel left in the dark. Trauma, the price for the patience. Character shaped like an arc. Move like my shit. Stay in the park. Don't feel the love or respect. Grip like a hand on my neck. This is the year. Place your bets. And I feel like from here, he's kind of expressing, again, the same kind of moroseness that everyone else is, but also that, like, fight back. Like, I'm trying to escape this. Everything's holding me down, but fuck that. We here to take it. Boy, bye. And then Joba does this really eerie outro that's just hauntingly beautiful to listen to with the bit of Merlin, and then the song ends, and I'm just sitting here left like, that was an experience go on. Like, it was an experience that's truly dope. This is a 5 on 5. This song is amazing. I know I'm going to be coming back and listening to this one again. All right, let's move on to track 4 on this project. Heaven Belongs to You.
And there's a war in my head just like the Middle East, and I'm the flurry, vision blurry.
All right, so this is a really, really cool track featuring the British or English rapper slowthai. I'm not really sure. I've never heard of this dude before. However, having heard this track, I'm instantly interested in hearing more of his work in the future, and so should he drop an album, there's a chance that we end up reviewing it. And I feel like every time I come across an English dude, I keep remembering that we're supposed to be doing more English music on this channel, and we just never seem to get around to it. So let me know when you guys see cool albums that are coming. Just hit me up in the comments or whatever. Hit us up on Twitter and just be like, yo, you guys should review this when it drops. Because usually if you guys make that effort for the few times it's happened, we do try to do the new albums that you guys actually want to see. But yeah, immense myself in discontent, hoping you can repent these things. It smells like ginger. I don't know if that's where I got the album title from, but it's such like another kind of flowing in this messy tone of things. Like, I'm losing myself in the darkness of it. So I guess it's not 100% a love album like I thought. Now that I really think about it, it's more of like an emotional disarray album. maybe it flips. I again do not remember what the other 6 tracks sound like. I have heard the whole thing like once or twice, but for my like actual review, I didn't really critically think about the second half of the album yet. And I do like just the overall tone that he brings in. You know, bad things have happened, and I want to find almost my recourse to redemption, to making things better. And this is such a cool tone, right? Because it's almost like Brockhampton is trying to make maturity and growth a sexy and attractive thing for young people to get into, which is a weird thing in a world where all the people my age are convinced young people are fucking morons because they don't listen to music that young people are making and stuff. Anyway, what you mean I ain't like Timothy? Dead leaves and debris sweep you chimneys. I don't even know what the hell that means. Let's see if Genius can help us with this Timothy. Slowthai refers to The Odd Life of Timothy Green. I don't know what the fuck that is. A 2012 family drama film about a strange plant-like boy who is essentially born from the imagination of a childless couple. What? Is that a good movie? Should we watch that movie? Do you guys watch that? Anyway, Deadly's, it's fine. They put the blame on me, but hey, it wasn't me. Like, God can judge me, but only God can see me. I ain't been judged, no one judging me. I walk in water, paint and touch what I bring to these. And there's a war in my head just like the Middle East. And on the flurry vision, blurrily see soliloquies. And that's a powerful thing to me, because I wrote a lyric where it's like, God may forgive my sins, but my peers will shoot me down on sight. And it's, I don't know, sometimes you come up with something and that idea just like sticks with you. And it's like, we live in a world where through religion and stuff, you get forgiveness and like God is there, but I actually believe in that stuff. So you might not, but to me that makes a lot of sense. So we can get past like the bad stuff we've done in our past and grow from it and whatnot. But society seems to be like, fuck that, I'ma judge you. So there's this like external pressure of judging where even if God forgives your sins and everybody forgives it, not everyone, literally, if that other person watching is like, I have not yet forgiven it. It's like, who the fuck are you to even have an opinion about what the fuck I'm doing? And so I look at it like, this is representative of that struggle of like trying to be true to yourself mixed with everyone else's expectations. But then he kind of goes, fuck God, I'm a dog backwards. Get it? Fuck God, I'm a God, because yeah, it makes total sense. It's just, he said dog backwards, and I thought that was clever because it just makes me think of Green Day's Minority. Then for some reason he doesn't smoke backwoods, and then I found out that apparently there's a no tobacco leaf movement going on where people are trying to get hemp leaves going on. But like, I just know that up in Montreal papers are big. What you saying, what you praying for forgiveness, when you want to get money, get them riches, like what you saying, why you praying for forgiveness, whole lot of sin and some bitches, like, yeah. And that's an interesting point, because how could you be out there trying to get that redemption when at the same time you're trying to do all the things that are essentially bad and sinful, and you know you're going to keep doing them? So like, what you actually trying to do here, praying for forgiveness in that moment. And then this 3 6 Mafia Break the Law sample kicks in at the end, which is used on the track If You Pray Right. And there is some tweet that links these two tracks together, where somebody tweeted out, if you pray right, comma space, heaven belongs to you. So in a sense, this might be almost a part 2 of that other song. I don't know. I saw it on the internet, thought I'd give it to y'all because it did a little due diligence there. I like this track. I thought it was really interesting to listen to sonically. Cool beat. The Slowthai's voice and tone on the album just fits really well. Like, he just fits as if he was a member of Brockhampton, and I think that's an amazing thing. And that's probably why they didn't actually feature him, because for this track at least he was, there. I also love the fact that Project Pat and Juicy J and DJ Paul get writing credits simply because of that little sample use. Writing credits are fascinating. I've been learning about copyright and how like royalties and shit actually get paid out and who gets credited and stuff, and it's truly fascinating. I don't think many of y'all actually know what's up, so I might make a video or something breaking it down at some point in the future. On that note, this track's a 4.5 on 5. It's really awesome. Next track's called St. Percy. This one has like this definite kind of head boppy, like I don't know if it's trappy flow to it, but what I think is fascinating is how we've hit track 5 and every single song has sounded different, yet every single song feels like it belongs on this project and is just the next logical step in the course of what you're supposed to be hearing. Kevin starts us off with this more deeper tone to it, like he's not doing that high-pitched stuff, and I kind of like it. In the same one you see in the classroom, A, we was chilling and still making crowds move, A, young K still posted in the A like a brave, no chain your boys got what would make my neck fucking bang. And I kind of like that he stays true to himself there, and he just kind of spits it out like he's just kind of chilling out there. Young Kevin, see some dudes he likes, what's up? Hanging on his speaker, banging on his speaker, need to find a reason, make you believe me, baby. Young Nolan, PlayStation controlling, send him to get up my head, and when it's over, roll over your soldier, no coaster, a toy back whenever the storm is over. I feel like Kevin's a little bit playing with the boys in the sense that he's being a player with the boys, getting what he wants out of the situation. And I just really like it. I feel like he's ready to go, and it just has this sick ass flow. The way the beat just like he starts going and then the drums just like kick in, like I think 8 bars into it, and you just feel your head's itching and it comes and you're ready to go with it, and it's just sick in the way it bounces out to the end of it. Then I like how in the chorus there's this little thing where it goes, there's no love in the ghetto, money we are just getting get go, there's no love in the ghetto, etc. And this is from rapper D-Flex's song Only God Knows, which is something that I might want to check out now, because I thought it was cool though that they essentially are sitting there digging into freaking crates looking for great ass old shit to sample to complement their new music, and that's just super fantastic and super awesome. Matt Champion's flow is stellar on this track. I really like it. How do you do that, boy? Devil on bamboozled. Yeah, let's go up behind the head like leopard and push it. Give it space. We're gonna drop call it Grand Canyon. She bust back, blow a fuse over the damn canyon. So I believe he has her with her legs back over the head, and he's smashing that shit to make it so good shit sprays into the canyon. Then he goes Cirque du Soleil. Okay. Can we just pause for a second? I went to Cirque du Soleil because I'm in Montreal, so like that shit's actually really readily available up here. And I saw the contortionist people, and holy crap, a new bucket list item appeared on my life where I'm like, how do you do that? And so that Cirque du Soleil shit where she got her leg behind her head, if that's what he's pulling off, that's some fancy shit. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I like that he's just like roly, poly, slide that, pull, yeah, low, blow, now sing like a do-do, eyes frosty, snow globes. And I'm just like, this is a weird, silly, enjoyable verse. Major League, Sheen, Call Me Wild Thing, which is cool because I believe that Sheen's character came out to the track Wild Thing in the Major League movies. So again, just this random ass late 80s reference that just gets thrown in from these young cats. That's fucking cool, man. Then Don McLennan comes up and does a different kind of like trap flow on this. Like everybody's kind of got their different version on the flow. Run up a check, hey, until I miss, hey, he does that kind of shit, and I'm like, that's fucking cool, man. Overall, his verse is fine. I don't have a lot more to comment on it. It's just a sick verse that he brings in, and he, again, like because they're all so different, it's like, it's dynamic. It's almost like Brockhampton understands the ADHD generation and understands that people don't have attention spans, so they keep shit alive, so you can't get bored. It's impossible. Bareface kills it again. You got big boy money like you ready for war. You be talking like you really gonna run that dough. You be running the snot draining from your nose. That's ice cream sugar to cocaine throat. And I guess that's him kind of pointing out that sometimes people are coked up and talking some shit. Like I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I just clicked on Ingenious Annotation to see what's up. Apparently this alludes to Ice Cream Man, a 1996 album by Master P, which I didn't know about. And then and I'm like, fuck, look at that, man. These guys know what the fuck is up. I really, really appreciate this. Then the track kind of ends with Merlin Wood being like, murder man, someone better hold me for this shit gets ugly. I don't know. And then it just flips out. It's really great. I really enjoy this track. So far, this album has proven to be truly stellar. It's got a great vibe. I'm going to give this one another 4.5 on 5. And that's going to lead us into the last song we're going to talk about in part 1 of this project, If You Pray Right. What a great use of interesting instruments to make this beat again follow suit, being a live experience. And if I'm looking quick, this is the longest song on the album at 5 minutes, and it features, I believe, 5 of the 6 dudes that do vocal work on this track, which is truly cool. I think the specific niche of this track is to make kind of vague religious references as they go through their thing. Dom starts us off like, "Hallelujah, Holy Lion, word of Judas, how I'm supposed to hate, trust what you say is the truest, Haile Selassie in Sahala." Sorry if I said that wrong. "If I gotta spin my words around, if you wanted a mandala for Nirvana, singing a sonata towards our comma." Now, I do have to say, this is really smart. So he kind of like points out Hallelujah, Holy Lion, which is some Christian chinks, Christian symbolism, word to Judas, the betrayer. How am I supposed to trust what you say is the truest, in terms of this religion or whatever, in general? But you go and immediately link it to Haile Selassie, who, if I'm not mistaken, had his own wasn't he the one that led Rastafarianism? Actually, I need to learn more about him. I have a book on him that I should read. It's really short. Anyway, so when he kind of brings it back to Africa, and I think one of the more fascinating things about God that I've learned in the last while that I'd never considered before is that basically every type of person out there has a god, in a sense, for their culture that looks like them, except black people who got the white god. So it's almost like they got stamped out. So, I mean, when you think about that, you're like, yo, considering how they've changed the history and fucked up some perception stuff, it is like, how you're supposed to trust what you're saying when there are these other things out there. And then showing like a mandala, if I'm not mistaken, that is the thing they would, or sorry, mandala is it's not Mandela. Mandala is this Buddhist symbolism, which, anyway, bringing towards karma and just showing that there's almost other things out there, which I thought was pretty cool. I got spirits in my heart that make my mind move like it's water, flow into the moment and avoid the melodrama. So I guess he just kind of goes with what he feels and intuitively knows to be the truth, which is a cool way to operate. I'm currently riding some kind of wavelength like that too. Anyway, and it's pretty cool. It kind of flows into the cohesiveness of his group, operating like specialists. 1 to the 2 to the who are you, sending out projections with prejudice. My attention to details and scale with classic compression is. So the lesson that prerequisites are irrelevant to my standards is a deficit in your sentiment. You better learn to mind all your manners. And I'm like, yo, this is actually really fucking great language use and fucking cool lyricisms pointing out that they are effectively more superior to you due to attention to detail and quality versus your trash. And that's dope. That's really dope. It's really fun to listen to. And then anyway, he finished out the verse in the same kind of way, and then Kevin comes in with a chorus, hiding on my partner, so it's a couple bands inside my mouth, instead of feeling trippy, dog, you need to help your city out. And I'm like, wait. So he's out at his partner's house. I guess maybe that has something to do with his mom his mom is apparently homophobic, and so you can see how he would not be able to comfortably be at home. Maybe he got gold teeth or whatever. And then he says, instead of being trippy, like, I guess wasting your money on hedonism, help out your city, build up some shit. And I'm like, that's an interesting flex. You should do stuff like that. Couple with the Teflon gets repeated for a while, and I'm like, that's an interesting line. I guess if y'all up in a certain life, you both wear some vests, make sure you're all protected. I like how Matt Champion just kind of paints this little situation where, like, if you leave yourself exposed, you're going to get clipped, and that's cool. I really enjoyed that. And then Merlin kind of hypes him up a bit before he comes in with his verse. If you want a feature, we can figure it out. Want a collab for your album, we can figure it out. Have you not under the boys who colored you're all out? Then you copy paste hard work from the BH house. And I guess there he's pointing out that, like, if you want to work with them, that can be details that are arranged, but they're starting to be copied from, and I guess people are starting to jack their style and try to do their own thing with it, which makes total sense, because like I said at the very beginning of this review, I do believe Brockhampton is going to be the boilerplate for how a lot of people are going to move in the future. And then Merlin goes on to say, I always got something to say when you take food from my mouth. I begged my mommy for money till the day it ran out. They say we helped you win and win. Now you should figure it out. And I guess they're just kind of pointing out that people's kind of taking from them and not being what they're supposed to be, and kind of creating false realities instead of the fact that they can remember differently, like having to borrow from your mom instead of getting help from these other types. Then Joba shows up and gives us a verse, which is really cool because I believe this is the first like rappy Joba verse we have gotten on this album so far. Waste your breath, watch the tone, take you to the dojo, roll up my dojo, sticky fingers at the door, bro, Jehovah, you ho bitch. Witness sadistic shit, well come again, next time I'll take my belt off, spank you, bad kid, backseat, not me, got beef. And if I'm not mistaken, what he's describing here is how he's getting kind of stoned, and then a Jehovah's Witness shows up and he kind of threatens that person. And I don't know. I didn't 100% know what he was going for here, but I did really enjoy listening to it. Then it ends with this break the law thing that we had in the Heaven Belongs to You track, the 3-6 Mafia sample, which is cool because it does have this rebellious tone and this great feel to it. And then we get this outro, which if you watch the music video, they're all in like this silver shit, I think this one, and then this is where the song shifts and it's a different thing from another song, and in this this part that you get on that album is not in the video. So Kevin is like, I'm tired of making a fool out of you and me. Is there anything I can do that'll save us, baby? Is there anything loving lies and robbing shotties 45s and still alive and no didn't driving? That's how they killed my brother. You know better. And then it just kind of like fades out and it kind of ends, and you kind of still get the sense that in the way that they've been living and they've been kind of perusing through their emotional insecurity, there's still again that desire to be better and to try to create salvation in maybe some of the more complicated situations in their life. Either way, I thought this song was pretty great. It's kind of following suit on everything that we've heard so far, and it's another 4.5 on 5. It's another really fantastic track, and I don't know if you could tell by my grades, but I'm really liking this album so far. So I do have to go listen to the end of it. So before we can get to Dearly Departed, I actually have to go review that crap and finish out the review and go record it and do all of that. But I wanted to get this out today so that we can get out the next one tomorrow and whatnot, or as soon as I can. If it doesn't come out tomorrow, I apologize for those who do watch this the day it comes out. And yeah, as soon as I can, I'll get the rest of the album review out. So thank you for bearing with me, and I look forward to seeing what you have to say, because your comments will come in, and then I'll have already reviewed the rest of the album, and then we'll see how that usually goes, because sometimes it's been real fun. Usually I'll have already recorded the second part or whatever, and then I get comments. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have seen that beforehand. But yo, on that note, I do appreciate anything that you do want to say, and if you make that effort, I will make the effort to answer you. If you like the video, please feel free to like it, and you can subscribe to the channel to get more reviews and to, you know, follow our journey as we explore music together. You know, there's a good number of people who regularly come back, and that blows my mind every single fucking day. Special thanks, though, to the patrons Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Coney Sparks. They support what we do, help us get a new camera, get to tell us what albums they want to see us review. Very soon we're going to be doing Bodied for Mr. Coney Sparks, and that should come out in a week or so. Sorry for it taking so long. It's been a weird month. First vacation on the channel happened this month. Anyway, so yeah, let us know what's up. If you want to support the channel, you can do that over on Patreon for $1 more a month, and you'll help us get to a point where we can do a lot more than what we're doing right now. And I make music as well. Links to that in the description if you want to check that out. I'd love to hear what you have to think. We've also got some videos on this channel, and I'm running out of stuff to plug, so have yourselves a great day. I'm gonna go do part 2 very soon.